Hi everybody, welcome back to the Coderoom. Okay, so up until now, we've been showing you guys a lot of different CSS styling techniques, okay? So ways you can style headers, paragraphs, links, all these different ways you can style techniques, okay? Now, today I'm gonna show you a way that if you see something on the internet that you like, okay, you like a way a certain table is styled, or you like a certain way a header or a paragraph or a link or whatever, you like the way certain things are styled, and you wanna mimic that, and you wanna see how they did it. All right. Now, this is all using a tool that I've actually introduced you guys to before, but I'm just going to show you another side to that tool. All right. And it's all about the Chrome developer tools. Okay. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So in the past, I showed you guys that you can right click any web page and take a look at the HTML structure. Okay. So if you look at our web page here, okay, we could always right click on any one of these things, hit inspect. Okay. And then we could see the HTML structure and how it looks like, okay? So it's like, oh, there's an H1 there, there's an image there, there's a paragraph, and inside the paragraph there's text, and you can kind of see the HTML structure, all right? Well, what's really nice about this is just to the right of that, you can see all the CSS styles that were applied to that element, okay? So let's say I'm on this web page, and let's say I didn't code this web page, and I said, oh, I really like how this header is styled. How did they do that? Well, I can right click it, go to inspect, okay? And down in the bottom here, if I have that H1 selected, I can just look to the right and you can see all the stuff that was applied to it. Okay, here's the color white, font family Arial, font size 20 points, text align center, background is this color here, padding is 10 pixels, the text transform is uppercase, and letter spacing is 15 pixels, and you can see it just like that, all right? And this is a really great way to learn CSS because you can go and go to websites that you respect and go to websites where you really like the design and just inspect the elements and you can get an idea of how they came across that. All right, so let me give you another example. So let's go to Byte site here. Okay, and let's say you really like how I don't know, let's say you like how this paragraph is styled, right? Like how did they get the paragraph to look like this, okay? So I can right click it, go to inspect. All right, and here's this paragraph. And I can see all the things that have been applied to it, okay? So the color is 555, all right? The text align is justified, all right? And that's pretty much it. Oh, the line height is 2 M, which we'll get into in the future, but you can see how that works, right? Let's take another example. Let's say I really like this button. How did this button come to be? Okay, if I right click it and go to inspect, okay, well, what's interesting is, oh, that button is actually just an anchor tag. It's just a link. All right, and if I look to the right, I can see all the things that made it look like that. Okay, there was a background applied of 444. There's this display property called block. The width is 120 pixels. The padding is 10 pixels, 10 pixels. The text align is center. The text decoration is none. The border radius is 5 pixels. And you can get all this information to see how things are styled. And this is, again, a great way to learn, right? Like some of these properties you guys haven't seen yet. You haven't seen display. You haven't seen border radius. And now you can understand what that does, right? So it's a really great way for you guys to learn how other websites are doing their styling. Okay. Now there's one other thing I want to show you guys in this, and that's how you can experiment with CSS right in here. Okay. So let's say, you open this page here and you're trying to get a certain, letter spacing for this header here. Okay. But you don't exactly know how many pixels it is. And you kind of want to kind of play around with it until it looks great. Okay. So if I right click that and inspect it, okay, so I have the H1 here. And the H1 has a letter spacing of 15 pixels, okay? So let's say that doesn't look quite right. So what I can do is actually, in Chrome, I can click on that, and I can actually change this value, okay? So I can say, oh, what will it look like if I do 20 pixels? Oh, that's nice. Or maybe 70 pixels. Okay, that's a bit too wide. How about 40 pixels? Still a bit too wide. How about 35 pixels? Okay, 35 pixels is looking pretty good, okay? So 35 pixels looks good. Now, one thing you need to remember is that this is only editing a copy of your code, okay? The way that browsers work is they open up a copy inside the browser. That hasn't actually affected your main source code, okay? So after you've played around in Chrome Developer Tools and you're happy with it, then you go back to your code and you change it there, okay? So this was 15 pixels before. Let's change it to 35 pixels, and that permanently changes it, okay? So great tool to understand how other people are doing things and also to experiment with your own code. All right, we'll see you guys in the next one.